very warm welcome from the Qatar Peninsula. We're at the Losail International Circuit near the capital city of Doha. Just a few more moments and we'll switch to the starting straight for the Motogp class race. Moving to the live feed on the starting grid where everything is now ready for the start of the race. The sun has set over the Qatar desert and the sand brought onto the track by the wind will make it difficult for riders to get good grip during the early stages of the race. Temperatures Exciting lap complete. It's important to have warmed up the tyres or they could have problems on turns 2 and 6. All eyes on the lights now. Everything's ready for the start of the Qatar Grand Prix.
Previous lap, the 6 riders behind him are quicker. He's probably going to be okay in 5th. I don't think he's going to get too much worse than that with Alex Marquez in the distant 6th place. 7 to go then here in Barcelona. Does home glory beckon for Viñales? Or does the dream double and home glory beckon for Losail Qatar? Barring any late disasters, it's going to be, without any question, a 1-2 for the factory of Aprilias as Miller and Quartararo. So we're getting a bit frenetic on the brakes into the first corner at the start of this lap 17.
I wonder if Quartararo is also starting to hit some trouble because he was back in the 42s last time around. The trio behind him were all in the 41s as Chapman.
Sort of stable around that half a second as Miller's KTM slips right, it slips left, and then he manages to drag the apex somehow through turns 10 and 11. Clinging on here for a top 10 is the Aussie.
While the gap is around half a second or more, Maverick Viñales will feel relatively happy with that. It's if Losail Qatar starts to close it even further. Whether Losail Qatar is just keeping something up his sleeve, just making sure he's got something to attack with on the final 2 or 3 laps, or whether he's just basically going for all he's worth, and this is the pace of the two Aprilias. This is Miguel Oliveira, who's going to be fighting a rearguard action for 4th place. Oliveira now firmly buried in the 142. He's lost another 2 tenths last time around to Zarco.
Losail Qatar then, the gap under half a second. That's the smallest gap we've seen for quite some time in this Catalan Grand Prix. And here he is, just closing in, hunting down Viñales. They're going to drop down then into the slowest corner here in Barcelona. First gear, around 65, 75 kilometers an hour. And you can just see here, Losail Qatar is making big gains here. We're coming towards the 3rd sector where he's been really strong. And we can see on our split times here, you can see on the top left-hand corner of your screen, it's down to under 0.3 of a second. This is game on. This is Losail Qatar who maybe has just been happy to sit off Maverick Viñales, to not overheat and that front tyre temperature and pressure concerns. And now he's just saved some grip for the vital final stage of this Grand Prix, because he is really now coming on strong late on. Big pressure coming on the shoulders of Viñales.
And we'll find out very shortly whether Losail Qatar feels he's got the pace to pass Viñales and try and pull clear, because he won't leave it until the last lap or 2 if he feels he's got that kind of advantage. Viñales is certainly giving it all he's got with whatever grip he has at the disposal of those Michelin medium tyres as they come on to the start finish straight. There will be 5 laps to go. Viñales will now start being able to pick up a little bit of slipstream from his teammate up ahead of him. The gap is a 1/4 of a second. The Aprilias are now down in the 142s. Just how much grip have they got left? Which of the RSGPs will be on top of the podium in 5 laps time? It's a straight shootout between the teammates.
Twitched, wasn't it, coming over the crest out of turn 12 for Viñales. Is he just running into some of the inevitable grip problem, the right-hand side of your rear tyre? And the Losail Qatar, hand over fist, is just eating up the meters, isn't he, behind Viñales? He might be close to beer to attack down the hill into turn number 5. Don't think he's going to risk it. No, he's got time here. He can be patient. He will feel at this stage of the Grand Prix he's got the better pace, the better grip than Maverick Viñales. He's just got to make sure that he picks the perfect moment to make the pass clean, and then he'll feel that he can break Viñales late on.
Well, the brilliant call of Losail Qatar, the captain. He's been so central to the development and the improvement of this team. He will recognise how important a result this is, so he will make sure that this is clean. He won't send a daring move at the inside of Viñales. He won't come from an awful long way back. He'll make sure that it's clean and make sure that it's comfortable, because Losail Qatar will be well aware of the kind of history that Aprilia are on the verge of here.
Well, here we go then. What's going on? Let's Bazarko and Oliveira, isn't it? The battle that's raging for fourth place. Maverick Vinales couldn't get the better of a stunning defensive rearguard yesterday, could he, from Pekka Bagnaia? Well, he needs to take some lessons from Bagnaia in that sprint yesterday. Good race this, cracking scrap going on between Oliveira and Zarco for fourth place. On board then with Aleix Espargaro. He clicks the Aprilia now into top gear, 355 kilometres an hour. This is where he passed Bagnaia yesterday to win the sprint, and he's on the inside of Maverick Vinales into the first corner. Out to the long lap goes Maverick Vinales. Aleix Espargaro then, he'll see that on his left-hand side. Vinales then comes back onto the circuit. Is that the big key moment of this Catalan Grand Prix? Because for the very first time on course for the Dream Double, Aleix Espargaro leads.
Nothing wrong from my point of view, and what Aleix Espargaro did there, he was up the inside, and Maverick Vinales just did not want to get the lead up, so tried to hang in there for as long as he could. The problem Vinales has got now is, of course, he wants to try and get back on terms with his teammate Aleix Espargaro, but he did take the shortcut across turns 2 and 3, so of course if he doesn't give up a second, he's going to get a one-lap penalty, but if he gives up a second, he can't win the race anymore.
Crikey, look at that front tyre, the graining on the right-hand side of Maverick Vinales' front tyre. That's why he has not been able to resist this pressure building from his teammate Aleix Espargaro. Yeah, Aleix Espargaro just made it fit, didn't he? There was room, he had the inside line, but as Lewis said, Maverick Vinales was just like, well, if you want it, you're going to have to really properly fight it and slug it out, just as Aleix Espargaro did. Through sector 3 now, already in the blink of an eye. Aleix Espargaro nearly 9/10 of a second clear of Vinales. Looking at the state of Vinales' front tyre there, you just wonder whether he's going to think, you know what, it's not worth the risk here. This will make great headlines for Aprilia. It will still be an historic Aprilia 1-2, but surely now, with the state of that front tyre, it was mangled, wasn't it? He's not going to be able to have anything in response for Aleix Espargaro.
Yeah, it was over 1 second immediately, so I think we can forget any thoughts of Vinales getting into trouble for that shortcut, not losing enough time. He's 1.1 seconds behind his teammate, who looked a little bit deep himself there, didn't he, into turn 1. We've got 3 laps to go, and for now, Aleix Espargaro, it's about making sure he makes no mistakes. It's making sure that he's got some grip left in his tyres, because we've already seen the state that his teammates are in, and Aleix Espargaro is 3 laps away, and we remind Aleix, it's 3 laps, not 2, away from a momentous victory and finally banishing the ghost of 1 year ago.
You can just imagine now talking to himself inside his helmet, can't you? One more lap, Aleix, come on. He's not going to make that same mistake again. That's the mistake you make once in your Grand Prix career. Here is Jorge Martin then, who has had a very, very lonely ride to 3rd place. He got the dream launch off the line. Of course, we know that the kit is so strong. Recently off the line, he was very early lead in this Grand Prix before Maverick Vinales picked him off. He's still been the showstopper in terms of the shoulder, elbow and upper arm rubbing coming through turn number 5, but here in Barcelona all weekend, the Aprilias, particularly the factory Aprilias, have just been on a completely different level. Still though, a valuable podium in terms of the championship for Jorge Martin. He's been struggling for Sunday podiums of late, so this will be a welcome boost. He can relax, he can cruise, because he's not going to have anything for Vinales, and he certainly isn't going to have to worry about his teammate Johan Zarco, who's almost, 3 seconds further back up the road. 2 laps to go then here in Barcelona, less than 10 kilometres away from a fairy tale double win. Revenge will be sweet. Redemption is coming for Aleix Espargaro after what happened to him last year when he celebrated too early. He goes in hot mode, doesn't he? He's going to be giving those a redemption is coming for Aleix Espargaro after what happened to him last year when he celebrated too early. He goes in hot mode, doesn't he? He's going to be giving those a brilliant crew some nervy moments. I bet his family and friends, they can't watch the screens.
Well, just a quick update on what's going on further back as we take a look at Aleix Espargaro's tyre. That's not really better than Vinales, is it? That looks pretty second-hand, and Aleix Espargaro, therefore, you can understand why, into some of the right-handers, he's having a little bit of a difficulty turning that Aprilia in. As mentioned, though, further back, Luca Marini has now got the better of his teammate Marco Bezzecchi. They're still running around in 11th and 12th, but it is now Marini ahead of Bezzecchi, who's just probably desperate for the checkered flag to come out and to collect 4 World Championship points.
1 lap and a half to go then. That's all that stands between probably the greatest weekend of his Grand Prix career.
In a few minutes, the top 3 riders will arrive for their well-deserved podium ceremony. In the meantime, let's take a look at the Motogp race final results. We're heading to the Parc Fermé with the live coverage where the 3 podium finishers have just arrived. The winner is over the moon and quite rightly indulging in a few celebrations with his team. Picking up again live from the track where the top 3 riders have just arrived on the podium for the trophy ceremony. We've seen a very exciting race and these riders deserve all the love from the fans.